89 through the current, that is Portastatic with White Wave on the current. It is just about 12 minutes after 2 o'clock. I'm Mary Lucia, and I'm just down the hall right now, and I couldn't be happier but to tell you that I'm now joined by our friends of Montreal. Hello, friends.
Hello.
Welcome back, Kevin. How about you introduce who is in the room here with us?
I would if I recognized them. Well, we got Benny Dean, Lewis on the guitars, Jojo Glidewell on the keys, and Rebecca Cash on the vocal mic, Bob Parents on the bass guitars, and if I recall, Click Click, we got Clayton on the drums.
You guys are in town to play tonight at the Cedar Cultural Center, and the new record, which is Lousy with Sylvia and Breyer, we'll talk more about it. It's your 12th album, and I know that everything that I've read about your approach to making it was that you sort of sequestered yourself in San Francisco. And what did that do in terms of sort of twisting things around in how you approach things?
It really messed me up, for
sure. Did it?
No, it was good. I was just focusing on basically just observing people and reading and wandering around by myself and thinking about what I wanted to sing about.
You didn't have friends there? You weren't? It wasn't like a place that you were super familiar with?
Yeah, no, I hadn't. We'd been there just playing shows or whatever, but I'd never really spent that much time just hanging out. And so our record label has an office there, so I knew a couple of people out there. And if I wanted to hang out with somebody, want to have lunch with somebody or something, I could. I wasn't completely isolated, but I didn't do that much socializing. Really, just kind of focused on what I wanted to do, which was right.
Well, and the vibe, I think, of San Francisco, when you think about, maybe the vibe in the 60s and 70s and stuff, I hear that influence in this new record. Was that a part of it for you?
Yeah, to an extent. I mean, San Francisco, is one of the most important cities. Well, it's always been one of the more important cities in the country and one of the more interesting, culturally and all that. So it was cool to be there and just knowing, I'd walk down the street and think, like, I wonder if Allen Ginsberg ever walked down the street.
I know. He may have.
He probably did.
Well, let's get you guys to do a song and we'll chat some more. Which song do you want to start with?
Let's start with Hegira Emigre.
All right.
Up in the hills, they are having a white riot with no violence or protesting for change. They simply riot. Yeah, if you're thinking I'm Caucasian, well, I'm actually gray. I was conceived on Ash Wednesday, stoned on Christmas Day. My baby's meditating to stop the war, but I got myself a rifle 'cause I ain't gonna get walked on anymore. Out my window I see a battle of hawks. My best friend has been dead for years and still we had great talks. Yeah, and just like the planets we will never touch, just float around in space, not expecting very much. My baby's meditating to stop the war, but I got myself a rifle 'cause I ain't gonna get walked on anymore. You feel such hunger like vampire bats. I got myself a gang and we're carved asleep just a dive. I made a widow out of you, even though I'm still alive. My baby's vegetating to stop the war, but I got myself a rifle, 'cause I ain't gonna get walked on anymore.
89.3 The Current, you're listening to Of Montreal live here in our studios. That was the best song Bob Dylan has never written before. Were you listening to like Graham Parsons and the Stones and stuff like that when you were making this record?
Yeah, definitely. Those were the big influences.
Yeah.
A bit of Grateful Dead, bit of Leonard Cohen.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the similarity and I think the thread that runs through those bands and those artists is this sort of a confessional and personal sort of narrative. And are those the kind of records that you find yourself going back to?
Yeah, I mean, for whatever reason, I just love the sound of the records of the 60s and 70s. I love the production and just the way it makes me feel to listen to them, you know, all kinds of genres of music, from, you know, funk, soul, R&B, folk, and everything.
Yeah.
Just think those records just sound the best, and the artists of that time period are my favorites.
One thing that we both share in common is a love and appreciation of Sylvia Plath. And how old were you when you read The Bell Jar?
Well, I read it in high school, and then I actually revisited it last year. So, but yeah, I can't say that for whatever reason, I just sort of like really started connecting with her poetry over the last couple of years. And I really felt like she sort of haunted the record in a positive way, or the writing process as well.
Her story, I mean, for anyone who's unfamiliar with her, I mean, and her story is so remarkable. I mean, she was also a painter, and, she won a Pulitzer posthumously, and had this tumultuous childhood where her parents died, both of them, when she was very young. And I love her poetry as well, and I wish I could read my own handwriting, because I had put down something that she had commented about her first 9 years of life. She said they were sealed themselves off like a ship in a bottle, beautiful, obsolete, a fine, white, flying myth. And there's always something so tragic and poetic and beautiful in her sort of despair. Do you find that?
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's just sort of the nature of the role of madness in the life of an artist. It's like usually most like really brilliant people, at least in the arts, are totally demented.
It's so
socially.
true. She also was. I remember one of her great quotes was that she said to be true to your own weirdness. And can you relate to that?
Yeah, I mean, you never really know how weird you are yourself. You feel totally normal, and you think everyone else is crazy. So in that sense, I feel totally normal. But I know that there's a lot of that in the arts, and thinking about that too, like how you need that sort of imbalance to motivate you to be creative. Mm-hmm. But then at the same time, that's the sort of thing that swallows you up, possibly in the end.
So do you fear ever feeling perfectly contented as an artist?
It hasn't been an issue. I never really feel content. But it's not something that I aspire towards at all. I don't care about happiness or peacefulness or any of that crap.
What brings you happiness, though?
Killing little things. No, nothing. Really. Well, some things. Hanging out with my good friends, making music.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Well, again, to have someone as influential as like a Sylvia Plath, who there's certainly a certain darkness to that, but I don't necessarily feel like this is a dark record.
No, I mean, there's a lot of, I'm sort of exercising certain demons, and, there's a lot of references to relationships in my personal life. At the time I was struggling with, a couple relationships, and just putting that into song as a form of therapy or whatever. not the fairest form, because then everyone else hears it and the other person doesn't get to have their say. But I think, songs like Colossus are pretty dark, and Sirens of Your Toxic Spirit is pretty dark. But then overall, just the feeling of the music, it's a bit more buoyant and, rockin' or whatever.
It is. Well, let's get some more buoyant rockin'. What song do you guys want to play next?
Fugitive Air.
All right. '89 through the current of Montreal, live here in our studios. Have you had an opportunity to hear that song coming out of your car radio yet?
Just being played on the radio?
Yeah.
No.
It's really good.
Oh, cool.
Sounds really good. We've been loving that song, and I just was listening to the current the other day, and it came on, and it was just like, turned it up. It sounds great. See, you don't have the advantage of being able to hear yourself on the radio in your car.
No,
You're missing out.
I am missing out, but I can listen to it on the CD.
You can. When you look at
It's not the same though.
when you look at the
It's not
12
as exciting.
when you look at the 12 records that you've made, do you think that any one in particular stands out as being more of a, for lack of any better term, a headphone record?
I think all of them are kind of in that category, just because there's typically a lot of things happening sonically, and I think, well, just in general, I just would prefer to listen to any record in headphones.
Me too.
Just kind of feel it's more immersive and just feel more connected to it.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy because sometimes like have an experience listening to something in the headphones and then listen to it outside of the headphones and it doesn't sound anything like I remembered it sounding.
I know.
I'll be like, play it for someone and be like, you have to hear the song. It's so crazy when it does this thing. And it's like, well, it's not doing that thing that it did before.
I know. Well, and you guys, you're also busy. I mean, when you're not playing with Of Montreal, you have side. What all are you working on the side? I know that many of you have side projects and other things. What are you guys doing?
Rebecca's growing her hair out.
Yeah, it's looking good.
Thanks.
I want to know what this comedy tour thing was, Kevin. When did you do that, and what was that exactly?
That was me, my wife, and my brother.
Okay.
That's maybe like 10 years ago, maybe.
What was it?
Well, the original thing was like, okay, let's just book a tour, and we don't really know what it's going to be, but we'll have the shows booked, and we'll sort of let the promoters know it's going to be a combination of music and anything else that we feel like doing. And the first two shows were a really exhausting, terrible interpretation of these Greek myths.
Okay.
And it was really unwatchable, and it just went on and on. It was like hour and a half long, and so we did that for 2 nights, and then realized, okay, we can't do this for a month.
Right.
So then we just threw out all of like the serious aspects of it, and just turned it into sketch comedy.
Were you doing this in what kind of venues? In clubs or in?
Yeah, clubs.
Okay.
And clubs that normally would never have anything like that.
Right.
Just kind of dive bars for the most part.
Okay.
And some like kind of like art centers and things like that.
Tell me about, how did you hook up working with Solange Knowles?
I just met her through Janelle Monáe.
Mm-hmm.
And we had done a show with Janelle, and we were all hanging out backstage, and Solange was there, and Janelle introduced us, and she told us that she was a fan of Montreal, and she came to Athens for a while where I live, Athens, Georgia, and we were working on some stuff together, and just became friends, just through music, basically.
Yeah. Had you heard her previous record? There was a little bit more of a Motown-y kind of vibe to it.
Yeah, I love that record.
Yeah.
There's some great songs on there.
And then, so with the new record that you made, working with her, I mean, she clearly wanted to sort of step into a different direction with that.
Well, I didn't actually work on her new record.
But did she, didn't you, I thought you did produce a track.
No. It's a funny thing that people keep asking me about.
Yeah.
But I don't know where the rumor came from.
I don't know where it came from either. Well,
I wish I was involved in it.
I know. Well, again, it's like clearly you don't know any losers. It's like Janelle Monáe, Solange. You've got some pretty talented friends and some talented friends in the room with you here. Again, the show is tonight. It's at the Cedar Cultural Center, and the record Lousy with Sylvian Breyer. And I want to thank engineers Michael DeMarc and Andrew Danielson and producer Jade. And you guys are going to play one more tune. Which one are you going to do?
It's called She Ain't Speakin Now.
All right.
Like some sepulchral tableau, I sit frozen holding your hand. Though I'm trying to think only positive thoughts, understand that this tomorrow may not be the tomorrow that you're eviscerating. Suffering will end up. Will you ever be yourself again? Girl with the flu, I hear the dilates as I hold vigil by your bed, watching the pillowcase soaking with sweat around your head. I can't repel this snaking veil of morbidity that's disfiguring the serif of your face, of the organisms bending. Gal with the flu, I hear the death and she ain't doing well. Her eyes, they seem cast and fatherless. Her psyche shattered or anyhow, she ain't speaking now. You scream that the books are falling off the shelves onto you, but I can't see them. Your hallucination ravings, I'm writing them all down so you can read them when your mind no longer aches and your virility breaks. Girl with the flu, I hear the death and she ain't doing well. Her eyes, they seem cast and fatherless. The psyche's cracked or anyhow, she ain't speaking now. Girl with the flu, I hear the death and she ain't doing well. Her eyes, they seem cast and fatherless. The psyche shattered or anyhow, she ain't speaking now.
89.3 The Current, you're listening to Of Montreal Live. The show is tonight at the Cedar Cultural Center. My thanks to the band for coming in. Always a pleasure. Come back and see us anytime. This is new music here from Lucius on 89.3 The Current.